because Nien's had his hand at Elise play as well. So this is what CLG ended up doing in their game against Cloud9, where they handed Cloud9, which is what is now the first of their second 2 losses in the season. But that'll go jungle or top, so it's not really telling TSM anything. It's not telling Dyrus anything about who he's laning against. TSM can't plan around that yet.
And of course, what we have seen as well this tournament, at least in the Challenger bracket, is FX Open saving their real top laner, or at least saving what could be a top laner for the very last pick in their lineups, just to confuse things a little bit. We'll see if CLG goes for that and tries to confuse things with the ambiguous Elise pick. But TSM, they've had, really their pick of the litter at this point, and they could be running to an old school sort of style. The card has been hovered over right now. I mean, Shen's up too, you never know.
Everything's up for the old Season 2 championship TSM game, or Season 2 North American TSM team. If they wanted it, they could have went with Karthus, Nocturne, Shen, but they went for a Kennen, so it's a little bit different, but they still have the Karthus. Because CLG went with the Lysandra ban, they're really just letting Reginald have whatever he wants.
And what he wants is that Karthus, the huge area of effect magic damage, not only the Slicing Maelstrom, but the Requiem, the Defile, and all that. So right away, Big Fat LP, if you weren't planning on buying Runic Bulwark, I think it's coming this game.
Pretty soon. I think he's planning on building tank items. That's all Big Fat LP builds in the jungle. I don't think I've seen him build an offensive item this entire season. And Nocturne, get ready for some tank Nocturne.
Get ready for some tank Nocturne indeed, as well as the Janna counterpick, trying to knock back the Karthus and the Kennen as well. So CLG, a couple of defensive pickups there, but they've still saved their mid laner and AD carry for the last 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking a lot like a CLG composition where they could go with a Tristana and then whatever Link wants to play, probably Orianna, and just recreate one of their late game stall compositions. That's the style they have. They've already picked some good disengage into what TSM has now tried to pick stronger engage. Look at all those things TSM has to try to lock up TSM's late game stall. Varus, Sona, Kennen, all diving in after a Karthus wall has landed on TSM's side. So TSM really looking to punish CLG, and CLG just doing the opposite of that, trying to disengage.
So a big in versus out composition so far, and we'll see if Doublelift can make his way through it the rest of the time. I know watching the last game he played against Cloud9, actually he was on Vayne, and the comment was that he was too short range and couldn't really outplay a Lysandra or outplay these short range, easy target champions who will just get free damage on him. And the commentary was that he should play something a little bit more longer range, and that's what he's looking at right now. Ooh, Urgot and the Zed.
I was talking to Doublelift earlier. He's like, I have no idea why people don't play Urgot. He's so good, because it used to be the thing with Urgot. He was just an AD carry assassin, and he would build the tanky Frozen Heart build and just go for people. But now with the Season 3 items, you go Muramana, Black Cleaver, Last Whisper like Doublelift does. Plus, he was saying what a high skill cap Urgot has. And it's a champion he is down to play whenever. And it is incredibly strong. When he played this in the All-Star game, even though they lost to China, he was 1v3ing people. So this is a very power pick by CLG. And then you add on top of that, a Zed coming out for probably Link is just a total curveball thrown at TSM.
So here we go, man. The competition is here. A lot of backline assassination, to be fair. Elise, Nocturne, and Zed, all of them able to hit onto the backline of TSM. But the Cho'Gath, the odd one Cho'Gath, is going to be here to try to gum things up. So TSM going with old classic picks, whereas the complexion of CLG's lineup completely shattered with those last 2. So we're going to see what these teams will bring to the table as Champ Select winds down. You saw the lineups. Hello everybody and welcome back to the MLG Spring Championships 2013 in sunny Southern California, Anaheim. Guys, you have been an amazing audience so far. We have 2 more LCS games today, and I want to hear you for TSM vs Counter Logic Gaming. How about this match, guys?
And right off the bat, we can see that CLG is putting some big-time defensive wards down, knowing exactly where TSM might be coming from, and CLG has full vision on TSM right now. They could look to pull something here.
Oh, the layway spots it out, but Link wants to go in anyway. Reginald and Dyrus all right there. Shurikens come out. The Howling Gale comes across. Will they engage? Ooh, the poke's still coming back and forth, but looks like nothing yet's going to happen.
Very good and timely scouting by Reginald's Qs there on Karthus. Lot of wards still being placed within this base, and I wonder if they're still going to go for something. Yen does not have a stun. He's already skilled up Q.
He charged up a Howling Gale from across the pocket ward, but that Rupture stopped everything. CLG can't go in on that.
And they are still sticking around after all this, maybe waiting on the next cycle of cooldowns. Somebody's got to back off in this scenario.
You can see the lay waste just giving enough vision that Reggie finally gets the aggressive ward that TSM wanted from that invade. And you can see here that TSM are sticking around. They're still on top of a ward, though.
Yeah, this is a fairly dangerous steal by TSM. The pink ward makes it a little bit safer because this means there's no direct vision for CLG on their buff, but everyone on CLG is still sticking around, looking to come in back and punish this, but they have to know that there's TSM wards looking for the approach.
But they put on the Helen Gale and they just go for the knock-up in the brush, and there's the push on for the Lizard buff right now. And the thing is, Darius has already been sent back out, so this is a power play for CLG.
And this is actually a little bit reminiscent of a previous game for Nien where he didn't get to lane in time because CLG keeps themselves together at level 1. This is a bit of a trade-off. It's helping Big Fat LP, but it's actually hurting Nien in this top lane because Darius is going to be level 2 by the time Nien gets to that lane.
And Nien's only recourse that he went for a 4th health potion with his Doran's Ring because of the late back. So I don't know if it's going to mean a heck of a lot. Levels certainly mean more, but we'll keep up with that matchup as it goes on. Otherwise, very, very default lanes. Link versus Reginald in that mid lane. Big Fat LP an easy trek through his own jungle. And
we know these teams have been playing each other forever in North America, and they're just going with the old standard lanes as well. Really classic matchups. Looking forward to that double of Chouster lane against Wild Turtle and X Special because Urgot lanes actually aren't the most aggressive early on at level 1 and 2, but once he's getting level 6 or so, whether he gets some of his items, his spam and his burst is actually really phenomenal.
So we'll see how that burst comes about as they get their levels up right here. Dyrus took a quick detour to scout out in the jungle and see, okay, you did take blue with Big Fat LP. That's fine, just wanted to make sure you were around. And they're going to keep that matchup going. So far, though, a small minion lead for Dyrus in that matchup. And as you said, Nien came a little bit late. We'll see if he can hold on. So far, he's doing okay.
Yeah, the minion wave is stuck in a weird spot for Dyrus right now where he's afraid of Big Fat LP's potential ganks.
Oh, but the push in onto, especially the flash. Can they do enough damage? One more Q. That's going to be first blood for Doublelift. And Wild Turtle is so caught out. Pops barrier, flashes away, no follow-up.
And Doublelift burning through his entire mana pool, but getting the level 2 kill on a Wild Turtle and X Special. No exhaust burn by X Special because he'd actually flashed out of range by the time Doublelift's lock-on was there and just wasn't able to get the exhaust on at the right moment. So great play by Doublelift and Chouster. And let's look to see if Doublelift can capitalize on that early great play.
Well, he's backing with about 1,000 gold, so it's a tier if he wants it.
He wants it.
Yeah, he does. There it is. He's already stacking it up right there. And the other thing I want to point out is normally AD carriers will go Cleanser Barrier. 99.9% of the time is Cleanser Barrier. Doublelift wanted to kill so badly, he has Ignite on an AD carry.
And in a sense, it's kind of because Urgot is short range as well, so he's always going to be able to get that Ignite off if he's going for a fight. Plus, with Janna, and since Urgot packs his own shield, he's kind of running with 2 shields anyway, so he doesn't need the barrier as badly to kind of bait out Ignites or not get dotted out.
So that is going to be the case here for Doublelift. A little bit of aggression into Summoner spells because he's got it anyway. We're looking now at Link versus Reginald, and the matchup is still close, but Link keeps wanting to put pressure onto Reggie. Reggie is running out of consumables slowly but surely. The minion lead hasn't been stretched out yet.
And something happened with that level 1 for CLG since the Odd One and the rest of TSM stuck around CLG's red buff for so long. The Odd One got a very slow start to his jungle, which means that this is the first that CLG's actually seen of the Odd One since that opener, and it's allowed CLG's lanes to play more aggressive.
And a perfectly timed ward allowed them to see that he was in the top lane by that Tri-Brush, so Double and X Special have at least 20 seconds to keep pushing forever, knowing no one can show up here.
And since they got a whole bunch of poke down onto Wild Turtle, it's going to be a lot of X Special's mana just thrown entirely into healing Wild Turtle, and won't be able to harass Doublelift and Chouster, who aren't bringing sustain in that lane, so getting the upper hand early in that bottom lane is paramount.
And it's working so very well for them. Oh, Big Fat LP gets a steal on the big Wraith away from the Odd One. Just to make a quick check on levels right there. Odd One is actually out experiencing Big Fat LP despite some of the early setbacks, so I got to give a hand to him for that one.
Cho'Gath does farm the jungle very quickly, especially with Vorpal Blades. He's arguably one of the fastest junglers in the game. A lot of people don't realize, just with attack speed runes and how much damage his E does to minions, how powerful it is. But Link is on the hunt.
He's level 5, most of the way to 6, so no death mark, but it just might be what he wants. Cho'Gath is sweeping through the lane. Of course, he's going to be spotted out. He doesn't care about stealth. He just wants to shove this hard right here.
Link's just running in.
They're going to go in for the Odd One. Silence comes off on a Link. That might be enough to send him back. Howling Gale comes across. Odd One down below half health. But no, he's just going to sit here laning with the team.
Yeah, very timely ward by TSM since both teams had that river brush warded. So once Link used his shadow to get over, he really just had to walk into TSM, and TSM was very easily able to react and back away.
So good escape there by TSM. One thing I like that CLG did, though, was you know, Nocturne, not really the best ganker pre-6, right? Doesn't do a heck of a lot without Paranoia. So when Link went bottom, he kind of ganked for Big Fat, and Big Fat just took the mid lane and made sure they didn't miss any waves of the turret.
And Nocturne in particular is fantastic at clearing off those early waves, and it's going to give CLG much needed map pressure. They want to sync Big Fat LP's ultimate with Doublelift's ultimate, actually, to maybe guarantee themselves a kill bottom lane, if I had to guess one.
No, that's going to be... I don't want to be suppressed for 1.5 into Darkness into Fear. That just sounds terrible right here. So Wild Turtle, I feel for you, but you are down in levels. That's going to likely happen onto you. Good luck, Varus. Just good luck.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Reginald and Link still up in the mid lane. Now, Reggie, for what it's worth, does have his ultimate. So 1 global's on the map here for TSM. They might be able to use that to turn a fight around. No guarantees, but at least they have the tool available.
I actually want to give a bunch of credit here to Nien in the top lane, because there haven't been really gank actions that's happened. The wave has pretty much stayed where it is right now the whole game, and even though he came to lane late against Dyrus, 49 to 48 minion kills. Any shot yet. That is a tremendous job by Nien. Solo 1v1 in the top lane against a much more experienced player in Dyrus.
A very impressive play then by Nien. Zill, just, even though he's still sort of new to that role, he's really proving everyone that he's here to stay. He's doing a very good job against CLG 101 on the weekend, and Nien's been a good part of some of those victories. So holding on for what he can, still staying in the lane. And the thing is, he's got like 1,500 gold right there. He's just not buying yet, but he's looking to kill off Dyrus.
And Link has spent a lot of time roaming around. Dyrus knew he was coming, and he's opted to stay.
And he's going to put the death mark on, and look at the damage output there. Requiem comes across, but it's not going to be enough, or will it? Nien just has enough health, and Wild Turtle, the same side, just gets jumped on, and without even having to use the ultimate from Doublelift, 2 kills.
Everything going their way right now for CLG. They get kills on both sides of the map through Reginald's Requiem, and they didn't even have to use the Nocturne ultimate. That's the best situation to be in as a jungler.
In the situation that we talked about, the hyperkinetic position reverser into Paranoia, still a potential. Nien had to flash away. Good rupture by the odd one, following through, at least getting them off the map. But the next major sort of cooldown burst still here for CLG.
Exactly. Doublelift, Chouster, and Big Fat all just got their ultimates, and they're going to look to punish Wild Turtle next special a little bit more. Doublelift should go back to base and buy some items, because he's sitting on nearly 2,000 gold already in this game, and they're just going to look to punish even more. Big Fat LP may not even need to go down there. He could help elsewhere.
He could help elsewhere and get Nien even farther ahead right there as he sits at 59 minions and an early haunting guy. So some AP and Magic Pen there. Link is going to take the time to grab his own Golem buff as well, though. So just a quick maintenance period for CLG before they keep making moves.
And this is just an example of how supportive Big Fat LP is in his jungle. Link is an energy champion, so the blue buff isn't really as good on him. It'll regen his energy a little bit more and let him spam slightly harder, but Big Fat LP could get more frequent ganks, could clear the jungle faster, and probably get more individual benefit out of that blue buff. But he's given it to Link because he cares about Nien and Link, not about himself. That's where the farm's going to go late game, so why not do it mid game as well?
Oh my gosh, so a scary Zed still going to be happening. Of course, he did get the kill for that top lane gank, so he's of course scaling very, very excellently. And we just check back at how these lanes are going. Right now, though, CLG already so far ahead in the dual lane, but now they've been given the chance to freeze this bottom lane in front of their turret. Wild Turtle's going to have a hard time even approaching those minions.
And he kind of needs to, because right now the only person on TSM that's getting any farm is Reginald. And Reginald's only gotten that because Link has spent 2 separate ganks, one going bottom and the other going top, whereas Reginald hasn't even really gotten any map pressure out of it. Now CLG might look to get even more, trying to scout the dragon, looking to get a bit more action, and Link is constantly keeping pressure on Reginald, and Reggie's scared of him.
Reggie does seem to be very much afraid of him. He has not a lot of durability early on in his build, just the tier and that Ruby Crystal, so 180 bonus health, and of course Link with an early Brutalizer makes that difficult. Now to TSM's credit, they have pink warded Dragon. They have vision control of that area. If anything does go their way, it feels like Dragon shouldn't be too hard for them to get.
It would be the natural progression, but I feel like CLG will go for a gank first and a dragon second, because they don't want to get caught in the dragon pit, allowing Reginald to position himself there while Requiem is still up. Whereas if CLG ganks now, there's a good chance they're going to force the Requiem hand from Reginald early and then be able to take a dragon if CLG goes gank is successful.
Well, we're still waiting for Big Fat LP. He has hit level 6, but hasn't found anything really suitable until now. He's lurking in the shadows on this bottom lane. It looks like if Doublelift gets in a range of Wild Turtle, they'll go.
They're looking any second now. It's really just how scared TSM is of this. X-Special did just skill up Crescendo, so it should counter that a little bit. They may even do this on top of a turret. And
in the meantime, actually, in the top lane, Dyrus was forced to run away from Neon Tansu jumping on him.
There they go!
They're going to dive in on the turret. There we go. The knock-up there on X-Special. Crescendo does come across. Doublelift still saving the position reverser. Pops that, but Monsoon comes by and ruins that. The root coming in from Wild Turtle as well. Doublelift still taking damage. Pops that, but Doublelift gets taken down under the turret, a 1-for-1.
And Odd One is looking for more. Chowster has to flash over the wall, but Odd One chases.
And the knock-up is there, but I think Chowster can just get away from this one. The Rupture's going to be a little bit tenuous. There's the slow out from Chowster. Rupture lands, Chowster dodges it. He's getting closer and closer in range. The Big Fat LP comes in to support, just the 1-for-1.
A very aggressive move there by CLG, but they did burn out the Requiem for what ended up as a 1-for-1. They burned all their own ultimates as well, so it probably wasn't worth it. The Crescendo by X-Special will lock them down. Very key in keeping them under the turret, and not a very timely Monsoon by Chowster's Janna. May just end up giving the Dragon back to TSM.
And as Reginald shows up, the damage output is just there right now. So thank you, the Odd One, for making that one happen. Noms that away, gets his bonus health stack up right there. So first Dragon going to TSM, closing the gold lead to only 1,000 apart.
That was a tremendous set of events for TSM. They really needed to come back in that game because they had no lane pressure previously, absolutely no kill pressure, and TSM's over-aggression really granted, or CLG's over-aggression really granted TSM's window back in this game, and they took it just right. 700 gold is not very indicative of how this game has been going for the first 12 minutes.
So good job TSM closing that one out. The buffs going to be thrown back onto the respective champions here as these timers come through. Reginald again with the blue buff, again with the lower cooldowns, the extra mana still scaling up. Going for the build we've seen so much on Karthus, the tier into the Rod of Ages, and the big mana stack, the durability with the shields, and the bit of ability power.
And it's one of the reasons Reginald has been sitting so far back in the lane and actually just letting Link roam around from side to side, because a tier first Karthus would just die to a Zed if he looks at him in lane the wrong way. So that's why Link's been trying to roam around the map to create this pressure.
And of course, Reggie just getting to press R to exert the same one. So Reginald doing a good job sitting in that mid lane, keeping his farm going. And of course, as Karthus is one of those big late game hyper carries. So if he can keep going, get going, that'll be a good boost for TSM.
And Link wants to go in for round 2 against Dyrus here. Already, Nian's taken a bit of power away from Dyrus. They know the Requiem is actually not up this time, even though it was the last time they dove Dyrus. So if Link can get the window for Dyrus here and Dyrus sticks around the turret, I don't see how he's going to survive this one.
And we saw something exactly like this just a few minutes ago. The same time
exact
the
same
cocoon
move.
lands. There's the ultimate combo. Dyrus, you are a very, very, very dead person. And Link's just going to walk out of turret range. No Requiem to follow up. The turret's going to go down as well. But the re-engage in the bottom lane. Doublelift exhausted. There's a knockup from the Odd One. The turret goes down, but Doublelift falls as well. And now Chowster's in a 1v3. They were not going to chase him down. I
got to say, TSM baited that fight in, allowed Doublelift the chance to go in for a fight, and they knew that Cho'Gath was there to counter. I love the feast as well, because CLG's bait plan there was to have the Monsoon healing while Doublelift had the huge amount of armor and MR that he gets right after the swap. That's when the Odd One came in with his true damage feast and just destroyed him.
Beautiful stuff right there then. Reginald, a bit of a spat in the jungle, but here's the cool thing by CLG though, is because they got the kill in the top lane, Reggie didn't move, they got 2 turrets for that bottom lane fight.
That's still very beneficial for them. I don't think the Odd One alone could have saved the 2 turrets, but he could have definitely saved the second one. So I definitely think that's the trade. That's the much needed kills though onto Wild Turtle are probably worth it.
So good job there by CLG, and Nian, of course, actually waiting around in the wing right here in this
Dyrus
brush. Doesn't land the cocoon, not actually still going in on Dyrus. Burns the ignite, still wants blood, pushes forward. This might just be it. The rappel comes down. Yes, he does. Nian over and over just winning these duels here now that he's gotten ahead. Thanks to the ganks, of course. Big Fat LP still getting chased under the turret. The Fear comes off, so does the Feast. He's trying to get away. The Skittle's not doing enough. The Rupture lands, but Spell Shield, so low.
Not up.
Oh, it is enough damage. The Requiem making it happen.
Really wanted to have that Spell Shield come back, and a super aggressive dive there by Reginald, finding his moment to go in and tower dive while Big Fat LP had not built up his magic resist yet. All the while, Nian is just trying to create as much havoc as he possibly can by himself in this top lane.
And Kennen has finally backed out and, sorry, I should say revived back and shown up to defend this turret. So 2/3 HP on the inhibitor turret. A bunch of actions happened in the last 2, but we're left with a situation where TSM have lost their top lane turret. It's a very, very vulnerable part of the map for them, but as far as everything else being on the map, they haven't lost bottom lane, they haven't lost mid, so they have control around this dragon area.
If CLG can somehow isolate Nian, or if TSM can somehow isolate Nian, they're going to be okay. And what we're talking about, these TSM versus CLG games always delivering, even though CLG has a bit of an early game edge, Doublelift's not on a hyper carry. Big Fat LP's on Nocturne, who doesn't necessarily carry that hard, and Reginald's on Karthus, so this is still absolutely anyone's game. Still close, TSM fighting their way back, and Dyra's just trying to survive in this lane against Elise, and constant ganks from mid.
And right now, Dyrus is very far from any major item breakpoints. However, more Global Gold going to come in for Counter Logic Gaming. Chowster and Doublelift refusing to leave the bottom lane. 150 minion kills on Doublelift despite his 2 deaths and that turret going through.
And this is almost out of character for CLG, that they're the first ones to take the 3 outer turrets. They usually lose their outer shell and then just let Doublelift go around split pushing. CLG's done a very good job of just keeping all their waves pushed, trying to keep the pressure up, and only overcommitted a couple of times.
And they've taken that outer shell away from Wild Turtle and the rest of his team. It's a good opening here for CLG. The early global advantage is theirs. Aside from that dragon comes up in 1 minute's time. I don't know if CLG has an exact timer on it. They probably have a guess based on the last team fight loss, but so far those have been TSMs.
They would have timed it within 5 or 10 seconds because Big Fat LP was able to throw the Duskbringer across, recognizing that it was there, and they knew when TSM walked back out of it. So when it does come up, if the teams are in position to go contest it, they're both going to be there to fight. I don't know if CLG has interest in that though, because Nien seems content just trying to shove in this top lane as much as possible.
Well, I figure, how much effort will it take for him to like seriously threaten an inhibitor and force like a constant someone top lane from TSM? I feel like that turret is always under a little bit of danger.
There's always the threat here though, because since they've taken 2 turrets in top lane and none in mid, the potential backup that CLG can send Nien is very limited because they just can't invade that part of the jungle. So Nien is very unsafe if he ever pushes past really where he is right now. And it does seem like TSM knows that, and they're just kind of sending Darius up there knowing Nien doesn't have backup.
And right now, of course, Dragon is just 5 seconds away from spawning. We'll see if anything goes for this here. Of course, as you count the ultimates, every single one of them is available, as well as almost every summoner spell. So, you know, it's just kind of up to the team comps and who brings what members in terms of a Dragon fight. Right now, CLG is collapsing.
Yeah, Nien came all the way down from top lane. This is a dangerous fight. I'd say for both teams, it could be very swingy. Where Reginald gets in and dies, the Dragon goes down. I wonder if they're even going to continue the fight.
The Wallop Pan is down on Doublelift. There's the actual lock-on for the odd one. Cocoon lands onto Dyrus. I'm sure lands, but it might just be CLG able to disengage. That surprises me. TSM got the last Dragon, but CLG basically snuck this one.
It had to do with the timing of the wave shove up top. Nien had put enough threat and got away without being seen, so Dyrus had to go up there to potentially avoid against them losing an inhibitor turret. Then CLG made it all the way back down, and then TSM couldn't fight because they were coming in from a very scattered angle and didn't want to get picked off.
And I gotta hand it also to Doublelift for, you know, thinking about how fast the thing died. He already has the Muramana combined. He's already got that turned.
A lot of that has to do with the first blood he picked up and how he picked up that tier at 4 minutes. That's much earlier than you're ever going to be able to get a tier on Urgot in under normal circumstances. So Doublelift definitely going to try to take on some 1v2 and 2v2s since he's really starting to pick up his big items here. He's already sitting on 29% CDR with those cooldown boots and Black Cleaver, plus a whole bunch of shreds. So very, very dangerous Doublelift here, almost at his power spike for the game.
Nien looks for Dyrus right there, dodges the Rupture, but he's in a 1 versus 2. He just goes for it. Slicing Maelstrom comes across, the repel up into the rafters, and he goes the other way. He wants to say, all right, double golems and out, but I burned your ult.
Nien is becoming a real problem for TSM. That's not only did they have to send Otter out there to support, they burned pretty much everything, and all Nien had to do, spend a little time in the air and burn his Ignite. So he's going to continue to pressure up that top lane and allows people like Doublelift to go do stuff mid.
And actually just let's keep track of how well Nien is doing because he's a fun player to watch, new to the role, but doing an amazing job. And he does some interesting things. I think partially because he is sort of new to that role. He's gone Death Cap Elise before. I don't know if that's actually the position he's going for here, but he's got the needlessly large rod.
He likes spiking people out with Elise, and I think it has to do with Big Fat LP going so tanky and just the way CLG team fights. They're all worried about Doublelift and killing things off of Doublelift, not diving the other AD carry as much. So Nien's just looking to kill people that are going for Doublelift. They're not worried about people going for Nien.
And of course, speaking of what TSM is going for, you know, with their area of like magic resist or the magic damage composition, Big Fat LP in fact did. You just spoke about how much he plays for the team. Runic Bulwark already done. Sat at Spirit Stone, was like, hold on, dog, I'm gonna go auras.
And you talked about early game. I wonder when Big Fat LP is going to get that Bulwark as soon as possible because of the team they're against and because Reginald has been getting so much farm in this game. Plus, Doublelift on that Urgot, somewhat of an AD carry assassin. The main threat for CLG in these fights is the magic damage. That's why they're trying to get rid of or negate as much as possible.
And the Rupture does not quite land. The poke coming on to Reginald, actually. He's taking a lot of damage here. You talk about Special spending a lot of his mana bar trying to defend people out. Wild Turtle gets away from the assassination attempt by Link, but loses his flash for it. There's a bit of a power play now for Counterlogic Gaming. They've got more health bars.
And it looks like they're finally going to be able to take down this outer turret after already having 3 down to the game. This should open up a lot of entrances into the TSM jungle if CLG wants to try and take a bit more control. They have huge pick potential in this game.
Oh my god, Link going in for Wild Turtle. He will die to the Requiem though. Picks up a kill to shut down. Goes to Reginald, another power spike here for this Karthus.
Somewhat of a surprising dive there since he was already 2-0. The 3-0 gold going to Reginald is really going to help him power up on Karthus. And this is a Reggie game. Reggie has to put TSM on his back here and carry it.
He's 2-0-1. He's got 228 minion kills, more than even Doublelift, who we normally compliment a lot for his last hitting skills. 8,000 gold on him, more than $1,000 over any of his teammates. Unfortunately for him, basically tied with both Link and Doublelift on CLG.
And that had to do with the turret discrepancy and the traded dragons that they put themselves through. So still an uphill battle that TSM has to fight here.
Okay, so he's got the Seraph's Embrace combined, though at 22 minutes in, Reggie is in that full mid-game mode of 2 big items down, the Sword Shoes as well, and it's time for his next big choices. We often see Death Cap, Zhonya's as the major choices as he decides how he wants to scale throughout this game. We look at the rest of CLG deciding that, you know, they are the more powerful team. They're up about 4,000 gold. Dragon, about 2 minutes away, that's not too far, but with the outer turrets gone, what's next for them?
I think it's about just trying to get Doublelift the right opportunities. You can see CLG's already given him the blue buff, puts him at 40 CDR, and that actually means he gets an extra Q off every time he lands that lock on because he's hit that CDR cap on Urgot. Really, if he can get a swap anywhere in the jungle that CLG is trying to take control of, they'll get that 1 kill, and that'll cascade into more moves for CLG.
Let's see if CLG can cascade out of the Howling Gale! Ooh, Chowster, you're not quite Bloodwater.
Not quite. Bloodwater steals bigger things with lower ranked tornadoes because Chowster's actually put 3 points in that tornado, so it was actually doing some real damage to it.
Scumbag
just didn't have the timing on it.
All right, looks for this deal, can't quite get it. Reggie still wearing the blue buff in style. So a lot of cooldown reduction for him. And Counterlogic Gaming, you can see them kind of swarming around the map. The vision control is getting better and better. They've got wards inside the TSM jungle. They're trying to choke things off. They're splitting through all the lanes and looking for something to jump on.
And TSM is trying to ward their own jungle quite well, but it's very difficult when Chowster's walking around with the Oracles and they know the swap potential of Urgot is there. Especially once Doublelift gets level 16, it's going to become even more dangerous because unlike most skills, Urgot's swap actually increases in range as he ranks it up, so the danger will only increase for TSM.
And there's a fight actually down to the bottom lane. Link looks for Reginald. Deathmark comes across. Nice juke with the clone, though. That might get him out of range, but there comes Paranoia. Big Fat LP goes in to take down Reggie. The flash is burned by Reginald. And that's a bit of a trade for nothing ultimately gained.
But we said this is a Reginald game. He is trying to take on 2 people at once while the rest of the team goes on. Flash in from Auto, and they're chasing him down.
They got a lot of damage there. The flash force away from Big Fat LP, still chasing Reggie. Of course, he does have Requiem in the next few seconds, but the spell shield soon for Big Fat LP. 5 seconds away. They will not chase.
A lot of pings going down after that because it sucked 2 CLG members down as well. Well, Nien wants to push that top lane and maybe get some inhibitor damage done, but dual threats right now for CLG because the Dragon has just spawned as well.
And TSM are grouping up despite Reginald having a very, very low health bar. He is still involved in this and goes to start burning this one down. Nien still split pushing the top lane. He has over and over and over again beat up Dyrus in these battles and just goes for under the turret, but gets stunned in turret range. He's forced to Zhonya's. Dragon goes down to the odd one, and now Nien might go for these times. He gets stunned again. Ignite takes him out, repels into the air. No turret aggro.
Really good play by Nien. Can he survive?
No! Wow. That Requiem saving the day right there. That would have been a dead turret if not for that.
Let's recap what actually happened there, though, because TSM was able to get the Dragon since Link and Big Fat had used their ultimates just prior to finish off Reginald and didn't even get it. Then, since Nien was taking the top while TSM was secured the Dragon, he was making his play, but then Reginald did it again. Reginald saved the bottom lane, saved the top lane, and secured them the Dragon in that engagement, and he's the only thing keeping TSM in this game right now.
He is the only thing keeping him in the game and is going towards the Zhonya's to keep himself in the team fights even longer. He realizes, I have all this gold, you will try to kill me first, but I can Zhonya's the death mark, I can Zhonya's a Monsoon if I'm really good at this game, and if you want to double if swap me into the team, I'm more than happy to.
And specifically when you run an Urgot team, it's very dangerous against a Karthus because Urgot fights clump. Just by the nature that Urgot swaps himself into his team and an enemy out, everyone gets very close together very quickly, which is another reason TSM picked such ridiculously hard initiation. Even though I think the Urgot was one of the near surprise picks at the end, it's kind of picking into some very dangerous things for CLG. So they actually need quite a big lead if they don't want to get decimated by the AoE damage in the clump team fights they're going to create.
Difficult situation then for this Counter Logic Gaming squad, but Chaucer, he is a rich man. Not only did he get Ruby's Sightstone, but he got double gold for 10 items and is now wearing that Oracle's Elixir, trying to sweep out Vision, trying to build some darkness for TSM. Of course, X-Special, the same Oracle's also playing the ward game.
And X-Special's actually a little ahead if you think of item tiering because he's got the cooldown boots, whereas Chaucer hasn't picked those up yet. But it's still the disengage from Chaucer. Very, very intricate team fights we're going to be seeing because CLG has some strange objectives here. They're going to swap one guy in and then, blow him back away with Chaucer's Janna? The Janna definitely amps up Doublelift's damage because he can add more shields on an Urgot, but the team fights are going to be confusing to say the least.
It's going to be a weird set of compositions here. Nian Tanso still, just Nian this time around, playing that top lane split push still. They've used him over and over and over again there. He's only really come down once to help challenge Dragon in the middle of the game, but otherwise, I don't think he's really left that location. He has just been there over and over trying to shut down Dyrus.
And Dyrus has actually, despite having the poor 0-4-1 score, farmed quite well in comparison to Nian. 211 to 229 for Kennen, who's been struggling the entire game, is not that bad. So he should still have a big impact when those Kennen ults come in teamfights.
Whenever he chooses to do that, it's going to be rough. Let's see if the Monsoon can knock him away. Because, of course, he's level 15, very near to that max rank ultimate, which is just going to be a scary proposition. Those big AoE team fights, again, the sort of composition style here for the TSM lineup. But Counter Logic Gaming still trying to push the issue. This Urgot going in for the turret in the mid lane right there. Hobin, of course, able to defend it. It feels like CLG, they haven't found their openings for a while, despite an early game lead.
No, TSM's done a very good job turtling up here and just holding off everything CLG throws at them. I see the smile there. They can turtle with Wild Turtle. It makes sense.
Link, though, actually, he was trying to be sneaky, but he decided not to go for it. He saw Wild Turtle actually backed off of the minion wave and thought, there might be a ninja lurking in the shadows. I don't want to go for this one. So Link he's like looking for moves, but nothing is opening up for him. TSM's, you said they're turtling. They're playing safely enough. They've never found an opening, CLG.
And if we remember, the couple dives that Big Fat LP tried to do onto TSM's turrets are actually backfired pretty horribly. So that's one of the reasons CLG is really trying to find their windows. Maybe with poke like that down, since Double has picked up yet another blue buff, they're going to be able to create some windows.
The dive is there on a Wild Turtle. Requiem comes back as well. Link is going to die for this one, and Wild Turtle with the barrier survives that burst damage.
That's the danger, and that's why CLG is having trouble closing this one out, because if they can't spike out Wild Turtle, and if they're not putting enough pressure on that every time they go for something, Reginald can answer with a Requiem, it's not going to work out for them.
Oh my gosh, so Nian forced to run away. Of course, there was a Cho'Gath and a Kennen saying, Spiders, we outnumber you, thank you very much. Get away from this one, and you're right, the lack of assassination that's actually succeeding here for Link. The Requiems that keep stymieing everything from CLG. I mean, I guess Link will respawn before Requiem comes back from cooldown, but I don't think it's the real advantage they can use to teamfight.
Not a real bonus, and he still wasn't able to get down that turret. Nian is desperately trying to get that exposed inhibitor turret, but I don't know what they'd necessarily get from that because all the other secondary turrets for TSM are still standing, so I don't think they can punish that position.
Now they seem to not be able to right here. CLG are constantly pushing up this mid lane. It is Doublelift and Big Fat LP constantly clearing it. I mean, they're doing a very good job of keeping their waves up so that even when TSM wins a fight, they're unable to capitalize on any structures or anything. But other than that, CLG is still looking to do something special. They've always been a good late game team, but you talked about a while ago that there's a Karthus scaling up through the game. There's a big AoE from Dyrus as well. It's rough for them to deal with.
And late game's going to be very close. I'd almost expect CLG to go for a Baron or a Baron fight shortly because Big Fat Smites have been so on point.
They have, and of course Doublelift gets a swap onto the auto, and Reggie low on health, forced to flash away, and here comes the engage. Reggie dives on in, pops the Seraph Shield, pops the Tony's as well. T-Force to disengage, Link by himself, but he kills Wild Turtle. Reggie goes down as well. No Requiem available, so we've got a 4v3 right now. Cocoon lands on a Dyrus, the damage still coming across. Big Fat LP flashes in, here comes Repel from Nian. Oh, the crescendo hits 3, but Dyrus under fire, pops Tony's, he still won't go down. Yes, he finally does. A 3-for-1 for CLG.
That is a big swing for them. It shows you after a team has stalled from pushing in, the next logical step for them is make TSM come out and fight you. TSM had gained confidence from all the successful holding they'd done, and CLG just got the pick at the start of that fight, getting Reginald before he could die in a good spot, and now Doublelift is just controlling this Baron area while they try to get this Baron down.
They've got to be careful of these smite feasts though from the Oddman. Nien is on a killing, he picks up the kill. Oddman shows up, it was smited away by Big Fat LP. Feast was still on cooldown. Oddman has no flash, he is going to go down. That is a delayed ace here for CLG, plus the Baron.
All weekend long, CLG has counted on Big Fat LP's smite. The Odd One didn't have Feast, but he did have smite. And Chelsea blew him into the pit just to say, go fight with Big Fat LP's smiting. He lost again, and that's why CLG got the Baron.
That is one of the, I don't want to say unsung because we talk about it so much, but there are some junglers who are so good at smiting, who I've never seen miss a smite on their side, and I've seen them steal a good number of times. You don't know it on their stats sheet, but you do see it here in these games. And of course, Reggie looking for a steal on the Dragon. This could be an interesting fight. The battle starts off.
He's got a Requiem too.
This could be rough. Nien does fall down. The battle is there. Damage there, and Link now stuck in a 1v1 against Dyrus. Requiem comes across. Will it be enough? Big Fat LP drops dangerously low, but the explosion just comes back. The fear is there, and Big Fat LP does not go down.
It's still a 3-for-2 though, Freak. So that's not an amazing fight for CLG, just another slight continuation of their lead. 7 kills on Nien. Absolutely crazy game for him. I want to get back to that smite point though, because when I was a jungler, I would get driven crazy when people were like, oh, you got to get that smite. I'd always contend, dude, it's random. That thing goes down so fast. You're just trying to look at the health bar and smite it down. There is an art to understanding when the rest of your team's damage is coming in and actually smiting before you see the breakpoint, because you have to. Your reaction speed could not keep up with it. But for some reason, whether it's luck or whether it's some unknown skill that other people haven't developed, Big Fat doesn't miss.
Big Fat does not miss, so there we go, having a great job of that one. Odd One though, should have a pretty easy smite on this one. I think he'll last with the Lizard buff here. Good job, Odd One. Got the Lizard buff for himself, and of course he's making his way up the build as well. Has the Aegis of the Legion on that Shogath, trying to keep up in team utility, but the number of globals now grabbed here for Counter Logic Gaming, even the guys who aren't getting farm, are pretty rich right there. Look at the build that Chaucer's gotten to go for. He has actually ability power. That is how much gold Chaucer's been able to accrue this game.
And the gold lead definitely ballooned after the Baron, plus the Dragon, and all the team and the 2 team fights they essentially won. I wonder if they can transition that into some successful tower diving though, because there's actually not too much armor that's been on Big Fat OP yet. Nien is not a tank Elise. They don't have full-on turret tankers. Everyone has a fairly tanky build, but no true tank on CLG, so it might be hard for them to dive in, especially having to go through all that area of effect crowd control that TSM is presenting.
Not to mention the 2 Zonias there, right? Like, even if you try to go for someone, they're not going to die. Then they come back up, turret's still shooting you. Someone else goes, oh, they Zonias as well. Life is going to be difficult for Counter Logic Gaming. The last time they did fight was in the open field, and it went so well. But Baron's off the table, Dragon's off the table. There's nothing to contest on the open field. The true test now here for Counter Logic Gaming, and we look at their positioning on the map. It's a bunch of guys in mid. Nien's going to be split pushing bottom.
And CLG is hoping that they can get someone on TSM not in a tower. That's why they're running back and forth so much, hoping TSM tries something a little cute. I don't think they're going to see it though, because CLG still has Baron on 3, and they are slowly getting down these outer tiers of turrets. So maybe that's what CLG's main objective is with the rest of this Baron buff's duration.
They are slowly making progress. Baron buff just on Big Fat LP and Doublelift. That is just going to be enough for them. This turret's being given up by TSM despite being under a backdoor bonus. So there, these 6 outer and second tier turrets have been cracked for CLG. Now's the inhibitor test.
And now's the question, does CLG dive or do they sit around and do nothing? Because you're not going to get many shots on a turret, specifically with an Urgot. There's no ranged carry here on CLG to actually get down turrets. Ending games for these Urgot comps is either you all dive in or you just back off and go do something else. So if CLG is sticking around, they better be ready to dive.
See if they are ready to dive, of course, because the team's still looking to go for what they're looking for. A lot of time still to go. Reggie still scaling up as well, of course, only to get more ability powers as game goes on. Looks to work towards Void Staff to cut through some of that magic resist on CLG. So Reggie's still going to get more scary and more scary and more scary.
You can see there, the turret's still not taking damage.
Nope.
So it's dive or don't dive for CLG, and if they're not diving, they should go clear jungle, they should go push up other lanes, or they should try a triple push, because sieging up against Icarus is not the answer here for CLG.
Really doesn't seem to be. They quickly check out to see if the red buff is spawned, the blue buff is spawned. Nope, those are down. All 6 mini jungle camps are available if they did want a little bit more gold there. As you said, they probably should go take wraiths and golems and things like that and try to just balloon a gold lead because they're bashing their heads against the wall. Baron buff has timed out. They're just sitting on a 10,000 gold lead. The thing to track now is before team fights happen, will that gold lead go up or down?
I think it can only go up here for these points as soon as we get the game back. There's nothing going in right now. There we go. You can see here, they're still sitting out despite not having the Baron buff. There's a Guardian Angel on Link. Maybe he's the one that they want to dive in and go. Maybe they're just waiting for a cocoon to land from Nien on a target they really want to. There's still a little bit of shooting, like fire and forget stuff. And now, especially since Wild Turtle's ultimate is down, this might mean CLG can get more.
Nien just got ignored in the bottom lane there and got a turret for free. He's getting slowed up by Reginald, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's exhausted. Repels off to the side. This could be bad news, though. Takes more damage. Special picks up the kill. Nien trades his life for a turret.
And CLG is going in for even more turrets yet, but they can't get in range, and TSM didn't burn much for that. If TSM could get a 4v5 here, they're going to take it!
There we go, the flash in from Dyrus goes for the stun lock. Link forced to run away. Guardian Angel is there. Dropped low on health. Doublelift running away as well. Can he punish Dyrus enough? Might put some damage onto the odd one, but the chase might still be there. No, Link's going to get away from this one. Nothing quite picked up, just the turret for the kill.
Many ults burned there by TSM trying to chase down the elusive disengage of CLG. Janna move speed just enough to get them out of that fight.
Didn't even have to Monsoon either. That was just Zed being slippery enough there and having just enough durability to not die to Requiem at the end. So that top lane inhibitor turret, if we check it out, is down incredibly, incredibly low. 165 HP on the top lane inhibitor turret. The bottom lane inhibitor turret is dead, so that one is available. The mid lane one that we talked about, bashing their heads against nothing, no damage.
Yeah, they can't get damage on that mid lane inhibitor unless they win a team fight first. And the last time CLG was not able to pull off a big siege, they went for Baron. That was about 1 Baron ago, because it's going to be spawning in 20 seconds here. And I wonder if TSM's going to come out and try to stop this. It didn't go well for them last time, but they have powered up a little bit more now. You can see there is a Void Staff completed onto Reginald. There's an extra item for Wild Turtle as well. A little bit more punch for TSM if they can catch a team fight, but it's going to be same old story if CLG gets the fight they want once again.
Well, they are on open terrain with a now 11,000 gold lead, so that has ballooned just a little bit right here. But interestingly enough, with Baron on the table, they're saying, Link, go split push, go split up the TSM lineup. We can fight them 4v4, or we get their inhibitor.
And Link's probably at the point now where he can actually kill Wild Turtle by himself. Earlier on when he was trying to do the turret dives, the barrier would save Wild Turtle and then the Requiem would come in and kill Link. But since Link has picked those 3 big damaging items up now, I feel like anyone TSM sends to defend solo can get soloed by Link.
And of course right now, Nien and Chauster are trying to just duo the Baron right now with an Oracles. The Smiter's not even here right now. It's actually Big Fat waiting around in the wings. The wards come across. These guys know Baron's being attempted.
Odd One's going to have to steal it.
He's got flashing. Of course, he's got Smite Feast, 2,500 health. Smite Feast is about 1,800 right now. He might go in. Link and Reggie, there's the Zonius
nice
coming
Zonius.
out. Link's going to have to run away from this one. Reggie's still surviving this one. Of course, he could be able to Requiem if he needed to. CLG disengaged from Baron, knowing that Odd One pretty much can't lose a Smite Feast.
Yeah, Odd One would spike 2,000 damage onto Baron, so that's why they stopped at 2,500, just to be safe. And they were hoping TSM would go in and force a fight before that moment. They were playing a giant game of chicken and then decided to just veer off to the side right at the very end.
Link, though, still trying to make moves against Reginald is the thing. Standing in the defile, of course, Zonia's not up right there, but neither is Deathmark. Taking a bunch of pain, wins the fight, loses his Guardian Angel, but heck, I'll take that.
Now Requiem comes up while the Geo is going, but he healed up. Dyrus is also trying to chase.
Does not have flash, but if he lands the Shuriken, he's not in range for the auto attack. The slice, it's the dash in soon.
And while all this is happening, as Link jukes over the wall and dies, CLG's going for an inhib.
They've got a 4v3 for now until Kennen can get back into the base, and that's going to be enough time to take the inhibitor down. Dyrus now back into the mix. Can he get to the team in time?
Oh, the Verisol lands. Here they go.
They are all rooted up. Doublelift takes a crescendo to the face. So much pain coming across. It's going to be Doublelift falling down. 3v4. Chauster also dropped. Double kill for Wild Turtle coming out of his shell. Looks like slow and steady might just win the race for TSM.
This is 8 turrets to 1. Yesterday, TSM was up 8 turrets to 2 against Curse and couldn't hold. Can they do the same thing to CLG despite losing almost their entire base? Because that's the type of fight that turned the game yesterday against TSM.
And now they have the numbers advantage to look for Baron Nashor right now. Now, Odd One does have Feast down for the next 20 seconds, so the 1,800 or 2,000 damage burst is not there. Big Fed he could theoretically go all hardcore for it and try to seal it away, but right now TSM want to go back in. Nian forced to jump into the air. He's not going to go anywhere right there. Pops Zonius, he's just trying to buy more time for his team. Goes down, but the respawns are coming.
And this would be the heroes mode of all heroes for Big Fat LP, since the Feast is now back up since TSM has stalled. Really, Nian was trying to stall as long as possible. I don't think Big Fat can realistically go in and expect to steal here.
And he looks like he's just backing out away from this one. TSM gonna get this one very much safely. Feast comes out, Smite as well. Odd One takes down Baron Nashor, and the gold lead closer and closer, under 10K. An inhibitor is dead, but they've got control.
Wow, freak. CLG versus TSM.
Yeah.
17 kills to 14. Inhibitor down, but with a Baron for TSM. Against a CLG team who's not necessarily that good at pushing. Reginald is closing in on full item Karthus. 416 farm at 41 minutes. That is astronomical right now for them. Wild Turtle hasn't actually been that effective all game because it has been about Reginald having to hold on for this TSM team.
Reggie's only 5,000 to 6,000 gold away from finishing death cap at this point. He's sitting on 1,100 right now. As he clears the waves out, his AP is about to grow really, really heavily. Now, the interesting thing is that CLG, because the inhibitor's down, have TSM pushed into their base. They're able to take Dragon despite losing the last fight.
It's what it just keeps happening in these games. I was asking Psycho Sid about this. It's like, why have we been getting such swingy games this weekend? I think some of it has to do with the increased skill of the teams here in North America, but I think another part of it has to do with just the environment. There's so much pressure under these guys, and they're not used to playing in front of these. There's got to be 3,000 people out here watching. Just everyone standing. Standing room only would be an exaggeration, or not an exaggeration. An understatement, that's the word. And it's creating these swingy games because not only are teams not giving up, teams are having trouble making the clutch decisions because there's so much pressure.
So speaking of pressure and 3,000 people here in Anaheim, we heard you at the beginning of the game. We're here at an amazing 43-minute game. Let me hear you, Anaheim. This is League of Legends, everybody. You have been an amazing crowd, and remember, we've still got more games today, and this one has, of course, still got time left in the bank as well, as CLG, despite losing Baron, still look to be the aggressors.
And Reginald did pick up his death cap here. I don't think CLG is going to be an aggressor until this Baron buff is gone for TSM. So it's all about TSM powering up to the right point here. Odd One's picked up a Frozen Heart, which actually isn't that great against Urgot, but it's just a really good Cho'Gath item. Odd One's trying to set up easy mode ruptures because everyone else on TSM is locked down. Generally, people can dodge out of a lot of ruptures, and it's a very hard skill to land. But if they're locked up by anyone else on TSM, he's going to be able to land those, and now with the Frozen Heart on a much shorter cooldown.
So that's going to be the case here for TSM. Easy lockdown, a lot of follow-up crowd control as well, and the life being difficult for Counter Logic Gaming. If they do get caught out, of course, the same thing actually applies as the funny thing. Doublelift and Link so good at assassinating anyone who gets caught out that these guys have to be so afraid of what steps they take and what moves they make, because every single one of them, they're watching you.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. Also, Doublelift is at 6 items. And it's early in a game for him to be at 6 items too. This is not your typical 6-item AD carry that Doublelift likes hitting, where he just goes and finishes off everyone. His Urgot spiked off a little bit right now, and Wild Turtle can only overtake him at this point.
And that's going to be rough for Doublelift. The late game situation only getting better and better for Team Solomid. You're seeing the minions still getting swept out. The gold lead still resting at 10,000 gold, but that starts meaning less and less as we get later and later into the game, because you can't spend 50,000 gold on yourself. You can spend about 18 to 20, and then you start selling your boots 5 times.
Yeah, Doublelift's been through that before. We were trying to talk him into the real 6 items, like, just wait until you have the Zephyr, man. Then you guys can start pushing. But I don't think it's going Zephyr on Urgot right here. They're back to the split push game. They recognize that there is only a sliver left on that TSM Baron buff, about 15 seconds, if I can see that just right. So maybe CLG are going for more, but Link can't get caught like this.
He's trying to run away. Exhaust is still on. He has disengaged properly. Should have enough health to survive. Holy cow, Guardian Angel popped. Reggie has so much ability power. Link is back up, but with very low health.
We'll see if that's worth it, though, because that was a Requiem pop for one where they might need it for the next team fight. That is 2 minutes now where they can't get it. Sure, it cost Link's Guardian Angel, but he's life stole back up to full and didn't have to burn his death mark. So maybe now, since the Baron is gone from TSM, CLG might look to go.
And now there's just one exhaust back up. The initiation comes in. They find Doublet. Link goes in for Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle tries to cleanse it away, but will he take enough damage? No, the death mark does not pop because of the QSS. And so it's a 1-for-0 so far. The chase still in. Neon forced to run away. He is silenced. The chase in from Dyrus lands a Q. Can they get a stun coming in? One hit to go. Cocoon lands. He's still alive. Doublet poking in from the side. Chaucer puts a shield down. Wards as they run away. You can hear the crowd behind us chanting TSM.
And the timing of that QSS for Wild Turtle, for some reason I thought he had cleanse. I didn't recognize it was a QSS, and that just meant Link did not get the death mark popped on him, even though he'd went all in for that fight. TSM actually forced that without even having the Requiem and came out on top. That is such a great sign for them if they want to win this game. But if they want to win this game, Freak, it's 8 turrets to 1, and TSM is still constrained to their base, but they have proven that they are superior in team fights. So maybe if they don't make any mistakes, the game is going to turn from this point forward.
They seem to be doing that very, very well, and if they can aim straight down the line and start taking CLG's base after these fights conclude, maybe they can make their way in. But Counter Logic Gaming, they have just pushed the map so well that every time TSM wins a fight, they're winning that fight inside their base. They finally come out of their shell here. They're finally looking for some pressure onto the map. The move comes in from Special. He lands a slow and a big fight. Noah gets spell shielded. When they're like knocking right at the front door.
And CLG has got to figure out a way to get this game back in control, because it looks like they have the 9,000 gold lead here, but it's not doing them much. Since so much gold has been funneled into Reginald, they can't deal with Karthus. They couldn't even assassinate Wild Turtle. They're clumping, due to the nature of CLG's team comp, into TSM's area of effect damage. And wherever TSM goes, as long as they're grouped up and CLG can't create a type of split push pressure, I feel like TSM has the upper hand.
They seem to. Every fight has gone their way. They've just had the better moves right here. Link, I guess if he had Guardian Angel that fight, it would have helped him maybe a little bit. But remember, that was still a fight without Reginald's Requiem. We talked about those two things being traded out. And now Requiem is back while Guardian Angel is not. So it's only getting better and better for this TSM squad. Their ultis are here. They have, well, not really many summoner spells. They've got about 2. But again, ults might just be enough for them, but they're still a little gun shy. They seems like they're looking for maybe control over Baron more so than control over the turrets.
And target selection is so hard for CLG in these team fights, since they're running into the clump and Reginald is walking straight at them. Sure, CLG wants to get Wild Turtle, but they really want to get Reginald away from the rest of his team. If they can somehow finish off Reginald, get him out of the fight, and then fight the other 4, and maybe they'd have an edge. And this is just how much confidence TSM has. Link is nowhere near when the Baron spawns, and TSM's going to get this.
They're just FaceTiming right now. The Nocturnal comes across. Will they go for anything? No. Red team has slain Baron Nashor. Dyrus is stunned up, and now CLG looks to buy time as Link is pushing in for the inhibitor.
CLG wants to disrupt these recalls for as long as possible to let Link do his work. TSM might try to turn a surprise fight.
They put the wall of pain down. Doublet getting caught, gets crescendo. There's the rupture as well. Monsoon comes across. Doublet surely to fall, but might just find Special. Can Big Fat LP do enough damage? He's been exhausted. Gets the fear. Can he get the last auto attack? No, he does not. The 2 for nothing about to happen here. Big Fat still trying to run, puts down the Dustbringer, still able to escape. And of course, Link has made his way into the TSM base.
And everyone is trying to scatter back right now. Even though TSM got another Baron, they only lost 1 for now. Little baby Nocturne couldn't finish him off, but there's the end.
Oh, Dyrus, you are a very dead Yordo. We have a 4v4 on the map. TSM has lost an inhibitor. Another one is available. They've also lost a Nexus turret.
And now you can hear CLG chants coming through. There's plenty of fans for both teams here in this razor close game. 50 minutes in. CLG still trying to get down more buildings. It's now 9 turrets to 1. But again, TSM has the Baron.
And these are the right kind of 50-minute games where they go back and forth. The teams, someone gets Baron and it almost doesn't even matter because the teams are so close fought anyway. It's positioning, it's target selection, it's getting that one lucky catch. And the outplays that happen. CLG was basically 4v5ing TSM and actually got a kill for it. They actually, tied Doublet for Dyrus and then still got the inhibitor afterwards. Like, even undermanned, it's the clever plays that put them forward.
And at this point for TSM, it's about base defense and finding fights that can corral everyone on CLG, because if Link gets going off again like that, he may be able to just finish off the Nexus. Full item Zed kills those turrets very quickly and also has assassination potential, not necessarily against Reginald since he can Zhonya's off the death mark, and maybe not against Wild Turtle because he's got that Mercurial Scimitar now, which can cleanse off the death mark, but it is still a huge amount of threat for CLG. TSM wins fights, but CLG has the building advantage right now, and TSM hasn't even come close to overcoming that. Still 9-1.
And it's just getting closer and closer now. Of course, with inhibitors being available for Siege, the top one has no turret. They could get that if they look at it the wrong way and someone spends 3 seconds of auto-attacking it. The middle turret, the middle lane, really the only one well defended, because Super Minions keep knocking at this bottom door, keeping TSM distracted. You're seeing Dyrus sit there having to fight minions, and CLG could put pressure somewhere else on the map.
And we're actually getting to a point in this game, if it goes for about another 10 minutes or so, which it very well could, maybe 20, who knows, that whatever happened in the first 60 minutes won't matter. From an item build perspective, because Dyrus got beaten pretty badly in that lane, but he just completed his Leandry's Torment. He's at 5 full items, 1 more and he's maxed. Mien is also not even finished his Leandry's Torment, hasn't upgraded his boots yet, so he's not quite maxed, but there's multiple people with max items. The more people that get to max, the less a gold lead matters. The more it becomes strictly about teamfight comps and how well they scale into late game.
And you're seeing people start to donate the farm over. Look at the odd one who's soloing the... like, if this were 20 minutes ago, that would be Reginald, without a shadow of a doubt, taking that farm and getting to his max item build. Now he's got nothing else to do. They're donating the farm away, trying to get the right people the items to get as many people there to 6 as possible.
If Reginald wanted to, he could have 550 mini kills right now, but he has been giving it away. The only thing to do now is sell boots, which actually happened in CLG's last 70-minute game when Link was playing Karthus. He resold his items over and over again, got 1,000 ability power at one point, and then backed off. Reggie is actually sitting at 901 ability power right now with that Baron buff, so he's pretty close, and that's a pretty powerful Requiem he's punching.
He is, in fact, just dropping people's health bars down. You saw Link actually get dropped from almost like half HP, had to force Guardian Angel out of that one. The mid lane turret actually is starting to take a little bit of pressure. You saw that drop health a little here, but CLG are playing the siege. They have Link in the bottom. He must be responded to lest he kills the Nexus, but at the same time, the rest of CLG are knocking at that inhibitor door.
And the Baron is gone, which is kind of why CLG feels a little bit more comfortable sitting up here. But the last 2 or 3 times CLG has been up here, they've lost a fight and been repelled backwards. The reason they're staying here, though, is if they lose a fight, they don't lose the game. But if they win the fight, they do.
They stun double throw in the mid lane. The pressure is on. They're going to go for the kill. Rupture goes, and they pick him up. The top Nexus, or the top inhibitor taking a bunch of pain, and the rest of CLG is still looking for something to knock down onto. Reggie flashes forward. Pops Zonia is not going to get feared out of this one. He's still alive, and of course, Requiem is there. Now, will it be enough damage? Because CLG are looking for more structures to kill. The mid lane inhibitor turret is down. Minions are into the base. Big Fat LP is trying to run, but Dyrus is likely to land the damage he needs. Link force. No! Big Fat just will not die.
My God.
Would you believe it? Just undying this Nocturne, but Chauster now to get ruptured, now to fall over. That is another kill, but Link, he is not done. He finds one. He looks for a special, has Guardian Angel, so he will come back with a vengeance, but I think it's going to be too little for him. He's going to fall as well. 2 alive for CLG.
And these fights are total chaos. That was a 3-for-1, but another turret was destroyed by Counterlogic Gaming. TSM's got 1 left. 1 turret left in this game, but I'm not calling them out of this one yet because they're winning team fights. They have a stronger late game comp, and CLG has been knocking at this door for a real long time and haven't been able to break through.
They're basically sacrificing kills to kill a single structure because TSM is stuck in their base, right? They're not making their ways out of the base. He is able to get his own blue buff. Just very directly, they're sacrificing kills in order to get that one structure. As you just said, only the Nexus turret now remains. If CLG does win a fight for some reason, the base is gone. TSM is just stuck playing cleanup duty. And as you said, there's no more gold to get. There's almost no more builds to finish. Yeah. They could get 100 more kills and it wouldn't matter. I'm
trying to think of this in some other terms. It's like there's a giant gate in TSM and CLG's battering ram has been slowly breaking at it. So they're getting kind of close to breaking down the door. But CLG has like so many troops and there's no food out there. They have no way of getting food. It's winter, they're rationed in. Whereas TSM's happily inside with their manicured gardens and they've just got all the crops down, so they're eating just great. And the longer that CLG knocks at that door before they break it down, they're going to starve up and die before TSM can take it in.
And that's the hope here.
Is that it? Does that work?
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Okay. It's a battering ram. We can go for the movie 300, just any of those, like, we can almost do it, but we're getting outnumbered sort of setups here. CLG is still looking to push in the front door, and of course that last fight happened far enough away from Baron that Baron is coming up just now with everyone available, with all their ultimates, and with most of their summoner spells.
I feel like we've been here before.
Maybe
Maybe two or three times so far this game. Link's in the bottom lane, trying to push this one up, and the death timers are getting longer and longer. The items are getting closer and closer to maximum, and I wonder if TSM's going to get a big fight, because if TSM cleaned up a fight here and then sent one good defender for Link, maybe they could get it through. But TSM has to send someone back for Link because they know they're just running out of buildings.
Link's going right now, in fact. He knows he can backdoor all 3 inhibitors, and he's up against Reginald. This is the 1v1 we've seen time and time again. This 1v1 means so much because TSM has to rededicate the rest of their team to defending Baron as CLG starts it.
And if CLG gets this Baron, it could swing the game. This is a 4v4 that might be happening here. Nocturne can't deny the vision. The odd one's around the back, maybe wanting to steal. This is very touchy.
It's going to be close. There comes Darius. There comes Oddman. Swap comes in, but it gets ruptured out. The push in. Oddman taking a bunch of pain. So is Double-It. There's the ult in from Wild Turtle. Nocturne dives on in. Double-It still safe. Oddman getting dropped down dangerously low. Big Fat LP still taking Cocoon, misses. And now TSM are running alongside Big Fat LP. Requiem comes across as well. Big Fat still running away. Chouster actually goes down. The health bar is so low. Big Fat LP also dies 2 for nothing. CLG forced to run, but Link is not done.
And TSM got the hold there, specifically Reginald. Not only held off Link by himself, was able to support with the Requiem to get the 2-for-0. Big play attempt by CLG there, and TSM looks like they're getting another Baron.
They're going to get the Baron in as well. That top lane has a bunch of minions pushing onto it. They could collapse and start getting structure kills as well, but CLG send Nien to the top lane, Link to the mid. They're going for structure kills.
And Reginald does not have his Zhonya's this time, so CLG might be able to jump on him. He's got to be very careful about what he does here.
He's put some layways down, the wall of pain not slowing Nien anymore, and forced to run out of this one. 1 inhib down, Baron Asher just now slain. Top lane CLG turret killed, health bar's low for Odd One.
And TSM is trying to collapse on CLG here. They want to get these kills. All the Baron members trying to chase him down.
Here we go, Nien using his repel just to get farther away. Double gets caught out, Double just falls down for free, and now Link in a 1v1 with Reggie. Reggie does have Zonies, he goes in for this one. There's the death bar coming across.
Zonies isn't
a
up.
lot of pain. Oh, it's not actually. Reggie falls over, and Link not in the best shape either.
So still total chaos in this game, Freak. Somehow the minions have taken down another turret for TSM, so they're on the board. They got 2 of them, but the base is still in shambles. Another inhibitor down, but finally a bit of containment by TSM. Link's threat is gone. TSM might look to push hard here.
Scumbag Reggie swapped roles with Dyrus, and I looked at the mid and saw Zonya's up. I hate you. We're going to move on, though. Of course, it is now at least backup from Corlin if he wants it when he revives. The pressure there. Nien still on the back door. Remember the promotion tournament when he won a game this way? He's going to go for the inhibitor turret, or the inhibitor itself right now. That's 2 inhibs to 0.
TSM has to go in now. They get the ults.
They get the CC on a Big Fat LP, and a Chester Monsoon is popped. The lock of the Iron Solari as well. The silence on for Big Fat. He's still running away. He's hasted enough, but there's the rest of TSM still want to go back in. Big Fat wanted to be the most annoying jungle possible, and he's done it so far.
CLG has pure defense here. Big Fat LP and Chester do not do damage. Dyrus can't stop Nien.
Oh, he repels up into the air. Dyrus' slicing Maelstrom will end, and Nien finds all 3 inhibitors.
That is a huge milestone for CLG. Can Nien also get away from this? Unreal.
Oh, he's Zonia's, but the EQ actually lands. Dyrus has this one. Guardian Angel, maybe.
We gotta wait for it.
Comes back up, repels back up. Dyrus gets it.
Crazy plays coming in this TSM versus CLG epic match. I wonder what the longest TSM CLG game ever has been.
The best of 6 from last MLG Anaheim.
Single game, Freak.
No idea. No idea, but we're going to be at least an hour. So now it's basically a 7v5 because 2 super minions are spawning with every wave in every lane for CLG.
But there's Nien down, and Baron is still on some TSM members. They might look to end within the next minute.
And they've got the first inhibitor turret down below half health. The poke comes across. Double is still trying to work down the health bars. Wild Turtle down below half. He can't stay around for much longer.
Getting poked down by Urgot. They have to run away because if TSM loses anything here, the minions would overtake their base.
And they're just diving in. They've caught Reginald. Reggie will be falling over in this fight. Wild Turtle caught up as well. The Guardian Angel is focused. They're going to trade that with Link. Reggie taking a bit of pain, but actually still alive. Oh my god, no kills except for Link falling over. Big Fat Up, he wants Reggie. He finds it, but it's a 2
they get double lift.
Oh, he gets knocked up to damage output. Chowster saving himself. Chowster tried to run away. The slow comes out for Special. Quadra kill for Wild Turtle. Nien, the only man alive, but minions are knocking on the door of TSM.
Freak, TSM wants to backdoor this entire base with Nien up, but the minions would end the game on TSM's base.
And here we go, Nien, can you be a hero? The Nexus will die so fast. The last
TSM's Nexus is naked.
It's taking so much damage. Can Wild Turtle out-damage a bunch of minion waves? Nien goes in. He finds Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle goes down. Double kill. Triple kill for Nien. And the minions will try to end the game. Cyrus, can you do it? More damage.
There are so many minions right now.
The minion waves respawn
and
buy a little bit of time.
It's over.
But it's not enough. Counter Logic Gaming in 60 minutes. The minions backdoor the base.
I don't even know.